Hello! Today we are revisiting our all-time favorite reading strategy called POE, or if you're boring, Process of Elimination. We love the process of elimination over at Capital Educators because the right answers on the vast majority of reading comprehension problems are so unexpected. They're so vague and so not what you would want them to be that we found actually the wrong choices are a lot easier to rule out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at number 4 here. In context, the parenthetical comment in line 23 supports the notion that. Okay, now we're going to go over to our little tiny passage here, read a little bit around that reference, get some context. Always a good idea. Okay. It should come as little surprise then that there is not much in the way of compassion toward parasites. Children do not typically fall asleep clutching beloved bedbugs, at least not the plush kind, nor do we expect to see a Monty the Merry Mosquito cartoon while flipping through television channels. Sympathy for a vampire, after all, seems to run counter to our species' best interests. All right. Now, specifically, they want to know why we put this little comment in between the parentheses right there. So, I'm not going to go straight to, let's find the prettiest answer. Let's try and get rid of some really silly ones. So if we look at A, for example, bedbugs can keep children awake at night. That was never outright mentioned. And also, no, kids are like barely even aware that bedbugs exist. Hopefully. All right, if that was your childhood, I'm very, very sorry. But I'm going to go ahead and underline some problem words here and call this a not mentioned choice, okay? That's one of the ways that an answer choice can be wrong. We see this a lot, okay? And I'm calling these words here that I underline problem words for pretty self-explanatory reasons. They're the words that make a whole answer choice wrong. Sometimes you feel like, damn, that whole answer choice is just wrong. I gotta underline the whole thing. Sometimes it can be as detailed as one little word, so you want to keep your eyes peeled for those, okay? If we look at B now, a child's toy modeled after an unthreatening animal would be popular. Here's where I want to get a little more detail. First of all, did they say one way or the other how threatening a parasite is? A bedbug? That's kind of up for debate, right? If they didn't outright say these dangerous creatures that are aggressive and hostile, all right, not what I normally think of when I think of bedbugs, but I know people who would. Unthreatening animal seems a little bit tough to call. So I will also call that not mentioned. Okay, so we ruled out a couple of choices. If we look at C, it is unlikely that a child will own a stuffed animal version of a parasite. All right, nothing's jumping out at me as super duper wrong. I'll give this one a check mark for now. All right, now we look at D, bloodsuckers are a child's main fear at bedtime. All right, that definitely had to have been mentioned somewhere in order for this to be okay. It wasn't. First of all, same issue I had with choice A. Just logically, that doesn't really make sense. Like, I don't see kids running around scared of bed bugs the way they're scared of, like, monsters under the bed. So I'm going to go ahead and underline some problem words here, like main fear. All right. We could call that not mentioned. I would even argue that's a little bit contradictory, which is another way that an answer choice can be wrong. If it's a total misinterpretation of the text, we don't like that. There's one more way that an answer choice can be wrong, called true but irrelevant. Obviously, like we just saw, not all of these 3 ways will show up in every reading problem, but it's something to keep your eyes open for. If an answer choice technically can't be ruled out because it's not wrong, but it just doesn't really answer the question specifically enough, and there's a more specific option out there, that's a true but irrelevant. Okay, so look at what we narrowed this down to. Choice C, it is unlikely that a child would own a stuffed animal version of a parasite. Now, first of all, this doesn't ring any alarms logically, right? Kids generally don't have teddy bears shaped like bugs, okay? Generally. Now, also in the sentence, it does literally say children do not typically fall asleep clutching beloved plush bed bugs. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. They're unlikely to own it. So I'm okay with this. I'm okay with choice C here. In the same way, I'm just kind of okay with the right answer to a lot of reading problems. Now, I will say also, if you weren't 100% sure what the word plush meant, which tends to be an obstacle, occasionally there will be a word or words that stand out to you, something you're not 100% familiar with, not totally sure what it means. That's okay. There are enough clues hidden around in the rest of this little paragraph and the rest of these answer choices that make it pretty easy to underline problem words still and narrow down to the least bad answer. Okay, so generally speaking, do not let a vocab word scare you into submission on any given reading problem. Just work with what you understand and you'll get through it. So there you have it, folks. Make sure you physically underline those problem words, check for these reasons why an answer choice can be wrong, and you're good to go. Good luck.